And there we go. And we are live, guys. Hey, Chris, can you give me 1 second here? I want to do my little intro. We're going to be right back, guys, on Federal Prison Talk. And there we are. Thanks. I wrote that song in prison, and because I'll never forget that. That's what we put for the title.
I actually thought that was like a Willie Nelson tune.
That's me singing, me playing the guitar, everything, all me.
I'll be damned. I actually thought it was.
Really? Okay. I'm honored. I'm impressed, and you're full of shit. No, just kidding. But hey, guys. We got Robert Culp here.
Some of you might recognize me with a little different look. Let me see if
there we go.
If this helps. If you did it and they caught you and you're in prison, you're fucking guilty.
So I know I get a lot of people that are on pre-trial, getting ready to go to prison, not knowing how much time you're going to get, where you're going to go. Will I get probation? All that stuff is worse than going to prison. This man here didn't have that luxury of going home, waiting to go to prison. He was in another country, and they still went and got him, guys. But if you are going to prison, let me tell you how I met this man. I think he had just arrived at the camp in Florence, Colorado, and we're in line for chow outside, and I'm having a conversation with somebody. He butts in. He says, I'm not here to make friends, man. I'm doing my time, and I'm out of here, and I don't want to know you, and I don't care what you're talking about, and I ain't going to make no friends here. Right then and there, I knew I had a friend for life. I've been out like 4 years, and I got to remind you that because I don't want you to forget.
Oh, I won't forget. I got to tell you guys, you find in this world strange comparisons to yourself. You find in this world people that you would not consider yourself akin to in any shape, way, or form. And you basically put everybody in those categories. Now, Sean's going to hold up something in a second that actually means exactly what I say.
Oh, yeah.
Hold up your Mayo bottle.
Yeah, so, you guys are getting out of prison, and now you got a label on you, right? You got to apply for a job. Maybe you meet a girl. Maybe you're just having a conversation with family who they got you pegged, right? This is how they look at you. They see a jar of what? What's it say?
It says Hunt's Mayo.
Hunt's Mayo. I didn't know Hunt's made mayonnaise, but isn't it what's inside? Isn't it inside? I mean, this label. I could peel the label off. Yeah, I mean, it's a handmade label. It's not even a factory label. It's not even copyrighted. Or maybe you can't see what's inside. And there's two ways to spell ketchup, in case you want to argue. But it's 100% ketchup. What do you mean? There's mustard inside? Have you even looked inside? Have you talked to what's inside of here? It's who you are. If you're going to let labels, let society just put a label on you, it might as well be a handwritten label, because that's all it is. I think about it, guys.
So when I met Sean, and why I said hold up the Mayo bottle is because my attitude was, I don't want to get close to anyone here because I'm better than everyone here. Ooh. I was richer. I was smarter. I was stronger.
And angry still.
On the outside. And the real truth of the matter was I had jack fucking squat. My wife had gotten pregnant by some man during my pretrial that she started dating when she came back to the United States to open our home up so that when I came out, there was a place to go. My kids, my son and my daughter, which are, they're all both adults. In fact, I have a grandchild too. And her hid all of this from me. And thinking I had everything squared away when I got out or when I went in. Of course, everything got used up. What the government didn't take, and they took everything.
Yes, they
What
did.
they didn't take, she spent. And on her pregnancy with another man, which I had no clue of. So you see, you go into jail with the concept that you're something, and you come in there and you get there, and all of a sudden you realize you're not. And then you become protective against who you really are. The truth of the matter is that most people don't really have friends. They have acquaintances. I'm one of those people. I was trained early in my life that friends are a liability. They will get you in trouble. They will cause you harm. It's better to reply to them as acquaintances because you can shine them on and get rid of them so you don't have to depend upon anyone and show your actual inner self. So it's self-protecting. True friends, which I have approximately 3, and I'm 3/4 of a century old, I still have 3. Sean being one of those, are people you can call 3 o'clock in the morning for no reason whatsoever other than you need to have something answered or you just need to chit chat with someone for whatever reason. Or if there's something that needs to be done and you can't do it yourself, there's that person to do it for you. So you see, when I went to prison, I didn't have any friends. I didn't want any friends. And I thought something was so much different than what it really was. And the big difference was I was guilty. Flat out. I did it. I'm not Donald Trump where I'm going to put out, $18 billion in attorney's fees to make you believe I didn't do something I did in fact do. In his instance, he is going to get away with the legal side of it, I'm sure. Because if you throw enough shit against the wall, some of it will stick. However, with him, Teflon seems to be a coating. However, it can't change the fact that he was accused. That stigma will stay forever, which is what we're talking about today. You are a convicted felon. End of story. There are a great many privileges that come along with being a convicted felon, and I'm going to address some of those. One of the privileges.
And I like that. And I didn't know he was going to talk about this because I have a few that I use today. Go on, Chris.
Yeah. One of those thanks, John. One of those is that you permanently, on the federal level, not the state level, you will never get any decision reversed that you're already in prison for. It'll never be expunged from your record. It's there, period. Now, that's not going to show up on a state background investigation, but it will show up on a federal background investigation. Well, if you apply for a job or a loan or whatever. So after 7 years from the date of your arrest and conviction keyword. So if you were arrested in June of 2020 and you were convicted in July of 2021, your 7 years start then. Okay. After that 7 years, you have no further convictions, then your record is clear with regard to a statewide background investigation. So you have the opportunity to get a job, unless it turns into a federal job, which nowadays can be almost anything in the sun. So,
which I am about to be a federal or government employee with all my felonies.
Yep. And that is a contract employee on a grant program. And a little bit different. There's some different things that are going on in different states that allow, but the state background check, because it's a state program, brings you up clear. Now, if you were to do this on a federal level, Sean, you'd have to answer for that. They probably wouldn't get the job.
Not for the feds, but they did tell me once the contract's over, I can be an official city employee, regardless of my background.
Yep, that's a city, county, state. Yep, yeah. That's true. And
federal, I'm not sure.
I mean, most metro systems, bus drivers, those are city, county, state jobs.
True.
And 60% of the bus drivers out there are ex-felons. So the first privilege you have after becoming a member of the exclusive club, which probably in the next 10 years, 1/3 of the United States, maybe a fifth of the United States will be part of, is ex-felon, either state, federal, or county. All 3 levels. Hell, most of the population in Los Angeles, California is all ex-felons. Everybody's been goddamn arrested, convicted, shot, killed, stabbed.
At least the politicians are.
Yeah, and if they haven't been, shooting anybody, stabbing anybody, robbing anybody, or stealing from them, then they've been, raping their kids.
Yeah,
welcome to California. Welcome to LA. Bunch of fucking chomo motherfuckers. But anyway, we're going to keep civil. The scenario is that you lose your right to vote. Now, that may not mean anything to you now, but for all of you intellectuals, for all of you people who are so fucking smart and know so much what means everybody under 30 years of age, you can't see that far into the future. You don't have any idea what I'm talking about. Your parents got it to you when you were younger, a teenager, before you decided to take the avenue that you did. But remember, no one forced you to make your decision to commit your crime. You did. You knew what you were doing because you have a little voice in the very back of your head. We call that, what was that called in RDAP? The quiet voice?
Inner voice. Inner voice. Inner voice.
Your inner voice. It tells you that you're about to do wrong. You got a man on his knees, you got a gun in his forehead, you got that little inner voice telling you, pull the trigger, he dies, pull the trigger, you go to prison for life, you may get killed, or be smart, don't pull the trigger. That's what that little voice is saying, should I or should I not? So nobody is responsible for what you did other than you. Own up to it. You are innocent. Of course you're innocent. Fuck, we are all innocent as hell. None of us did anything. Sean, you didn't do your crime, right?
Actually, I'm the only one who was guilty in the whole entire federal system.
For the first 2 years I knew him, he was innocent as hell.
But I had an explanation why, and I justified, and, had it been Tuesday that they came, that would have happened, all that. And I could name a million other people that do it, but they had to come after me. I had that attitude.
Yeah, you see, mine was, if the government wasn't exerting pressure on a smaller country to give me up, and no, I wasn't in South America, fellas. I was on the Pacific Island chain. If they weren't putting pressure on another government, a smaller government, to allow them to extradite me, we wouldn't be talking. I'd be living in the South Pacific Island just like I was when they arrested me. So, you see, we are responsible for what we do. We are knowledgeable of when we're doing it. And I can tell you exactly when I made that decision. Exactly, because I sat myself down and had that conversation. Here's what that was. That was 4 years before they arrested me. It was at Christmas time when my ex-sister-in-law and her 3 boys came to live with my wife and myself and my 2 children. I was all of a sudden faced with an extra $3,000 to $4,000 a month in income I didn't have at that point.
And you used to tell me the stories and the letters and all the, I almost was there the way you described it.
And I said to myself, I need to expand. So I took a perfectly legitimate business of 20 years and turned it into one facet of it into an illegitimate business. Now, my crime is financial.
Now, did you do that for your family? Did you do that because
I did it for the justification?
As a provider, how did you justify that? Because
I justified
it was wrong.
I justified it by saying I need to make this extra money to take care of these people because nobody's going to starve. Really, fellas, we were doing very well anyway. So I just got too big, too fast, and had way too much money. No, I was not into drugs. These were financial crimes. So I made that decision knowledgeably. I made that decision flat out said, I'm going to do it. I know what can happen, but I'm going to do it. And what was my justification besides the family part? That was my reason. My justification was that many people that I did business with who are much more important than I, who could buy and sell everything I owned 10 times over in a day, were doing it. Nobody was catching them.
Yeah.
Right. But here's where the fallacy comes. Fallacy comes just like you little borrachos who come out of Tijuana or out of Sonora in general, or Nogales, and you come out of there and you got 6 or 7 kilos of pot in your car, 2 keys of Coke, and you're being sent through there by a sponsor. You come to the border, right? And you think you're all cool because your sponsor, whose name usually starts with a C and ends with an L.
And they got your back.
They got you covered, right? And your home is broke. Your family is starving. You can't find a reasonable job. So you say, yeah, I'll transport this dope. You transport
it. Every day. It's all set up through the border. Nothing's
gonna beautiful. Happen. Everything's covered. You're cool. Hey, if you go to jail, we'll even take care of you and your family. So you get that dope across the border over there and you get it to the borderline, and all of a sudden your car gets stopped.
I'm doing a broadcast. Sorry, Stephen. I'll get back to you. Sorry.
Okay. That's it. Your car gets stopped, but 20,000 other cars don't. That should tell you something. You're going to do 3 to 5 years. You are going to do 3 to 5 years.
Ooh, this guy?
You, right? Yeah, put your finger in it because it's true. Because you were the dumbass who said, yeah, I'll do this. And maybe that company you work for who starts with a C and ends with an L said, oh, okay, cover his ass for 2 or 3 loads, and then we make this big load coming up in June. We need a sacrificial goat at the door. So we're going to set you up to get busted while the diesel tractor with 40,000 pounds of cocaine rolls through.
But you're important. They wouldn't do that to you.
Of course you're important. And you think you got everybody covered and everything going. So for an extra, 200 pesos a week, which is like a fortune to some, you're going to be good for 5 or 6 weeks until something big comes along and you get sacrificed. Now you're in prison.
But if you keep your mouth shut, your family might get 10 grand and everything's good, and you're not going to get.
Your family's not going to get anything. You're going to get money on your books for the first 2 months, and then it's going to be like, who the fuck are you? The point is, and then they're going to tell you who to hook up with in prison. Maybe you hook up with the Paisas, or you hook up with Texas Mafia or something like that. But regardless, you
can sell meat packs. You could sell meat packs. Hey,
Yeah, I mean, you can sell tuna and meat, but in tinfoil boxes that you buy at the dollar store for 99 cents. But regardless of the fact, the point is that you made that decision, nobody else. Whatever your reasons, that little voice in the back of your head, Pancho, told you it was illegal and you knew it. So no more blame game. That's the way it goes. You did it. You did it. Did the crime, pay the time.
Yeah.
Now the next part of that
is pull your pants up and get on with life, and don't let it be don't let it be a burden. Easier said than done, perhaps.
Yep, that's very few people that I know went to prison, into a prison camp, no less, with the intention of staying. Everybody went to a camp with the intention of getting out. Mm-hmm. There wasn't violence on everybody's book. The only real violent people you had were some of the down-home mafia type, be it white, Mexican, or Asian. And they were I'm sorry?
Oh, I put up got Kill 'em with Karma's on here. He says, hope everyone's having a great day.
Oh, okay. Those people were raised on the street, and they were raised in a lifestyle that goes back to traditional backgrounds. So there are very few of them. Everybody that's in the camp is trying to get out. So for those of you who are going to a camp, you shouldn't be too concerned, because people aren't going there so they can escalate their sentence into 20 years or a life. They're not trying to get into the next level prison up, which is a medium,
low, a cholo,
a medium, and a high. Bolshon and I worked at the ADX, which is the most secure prison in the United States.
And nothing's ever stolen out of there.
Yeah, trust me. I never got caught doing anything because I never did anything. But regardless, these are where they put all the bombers and all the, real big terrorist guys. And then somewhere along the line, somebody forgets their name on the list and they end up in Guantanamo. But regardless, the prison system is designed for certain levels of people. And most of you that we're talking to right now are those levels of people who are not looking for career time in jail. So once you go in, I'm going to say this one time, and then that's going to be all that's going to be said about that. We're going to discuss other things. Once you go in, your main goal, and this is a one-time say, your main goal, no matter how badass you think you are, no matter how many guns you hid in your gun belt and had no idea how to shoot them, but you were a badass criminal, you go into prison planning for the day that you get out and the life you're going to have after. Now, that's the only and last time I'm going to say it.
I want to really coattail on that life you're going to have after, because you will, guys. My life has never been better after. I came from a different background than Chris, but you've heard, oh, prison saved my life. Prison gave me a chance to do it over, to reset and think about and learn about, and just, focus on the future. All the bills and the drama and the women and the family and all gone, unless you want to hang on that telephone every day to remind yourself while you're in the prison, you're going to run a household from a federal prison payphone. Sure. If you can get past that, you can actually restart your life. And it starts, if you're watching and you haven't been to prison yet, you start right now, today. But I did want to say one superpower, Chris, that I got out of going to prison, because I read this book called 99 Days in a Get Up. Not a Wake Up. I guess that was already taken. So he used 99 Days in a Get Up. And I read the book, and it's written by an ex-con. And I'm not impressed, but I'm reading it anyway. But I get to a part where he says you get a superpower. That's where you can see right through people. They're bullshit. They're all, you can see that it's really ketchup on the inside. Okay? Even though it says mayonnaise. And you use that power when you get out to choose your friends very wisely, because you can see all the people you meet when you get out. Use that power to choose who you associate with wisely. The job you're going to pick, not the job you're going to get because the job you are going to pick. You choose that wisely. Every movement, every day, every minute, action that you choose it wisely, because you have a superpower now. People, you can see right through their bullshit. So now you get to choose who that you associate with. You didn't do that before, and you weren't thinking for yourself, but you come out of prison, you also get that reset button. That's probably the only place that you could get a reset on life, to come back from the dead. Because you're dead to a lot of people out there, but now you come back and they don't care if you're dead or alive. A lot of you, doesn't matter. You are resetting your life. So use that wisely. And now make your decisions the right way, the way you should have. And you'll have a great life. I promise you.
So what Sean's saying is basically very true, and I'm going to amplify a number of things. As you are looking at my face in this video, you're looking at a man who's 3/4 of a century old. My future in the workplace is limited to maybe another 5 to 8 years. The United States government took everything I owned, and it was considerable. My tax debt for 2 or 3 years that I didn't report my income was $3.1 million. I was doing quite well. I was sentenced to 72 months. Not married. My daughter hardly talks to me. She hasn't spoken to me in 3 years. My son talks to me when he remembers. My ex-wife and I have more communication than we probably have when we were married, but that's because she wants me to give her things, and I am not giving her anything. And I'm working in a job that I was never trained for. I have 2 college degrees. I have 1 international banking degree, and I'm driving a truck. That's what I'm doing. And I like it, because there's nobody else in that truck with me but me. I have one responsibility: get my load from where I picked it up to where I'm supposed to drop it off. But I'm aging out. People are not really wanting to hire 75-year-old drivers. Occasionally they will. You know, we're not really having a real shortage of truck drivers. But last year I made $72,000. I can't remember when I made $72,000. Such a small amount. I'm used to somewhere between 1 and 5 million a year. A bad year, 1. A normal year, about 5. I'm not used to this kind of money. But you know what? It's a much better lifestyle because I've given up a number of things that hurt me.
Inner peace, Chris. You have that today. I feel it.
That Zen bullshit. Suck my dick.
No, man. No, I'm serious. You are happy. You're happy with yourself. You're happy with yourself.
You guys want to watch Sean get fired up? Let me continue.
I'm telling you, man. No, I knew this guy before. He was an angry fucking asshole.
Oh, big time. Big time. But here's the thing. I'm going to make a statement that Sean said earlier. I don't want to hear that kind of stuff, but it's true. Prison actually did save my life because if I continued in the vein that I was in my banking career, I would have probably already had a heart attack and I would have been dead. Prison caused me to look at myself. It caused me to slow down. And if you really want to claim that you're a smart and intelligent person, like you're so busy telling everybody you are, then you need to really slow down, look at yourself, and be honest. Sean is right. I was a fucking asshole. I was an arrogant fucking prick. Well trained, but arrogant. So,
wow.
I've learned a few things.
I can't believe I just heard you say that.
I've learned a few things in the process of going through it. One is that I've given up so much, but I've gotten so much more out of joining this club as an ex-felon. One is I can't ever vote again.
What stuck there? Because you can vote in California.
Not as a felon.
Yes, you can. I've been
doing a federal felon. You cannot.
Well, then they need to put me back in prison. I vote every year.
You can vote. Well, Sean, you know how many?
I've checked with the voter registration.
Excuse me. How many people cross the border every day with illegal drugs? Does that make it legal? It just means they haven't been caught.
No, you can register to vote even in federal and national elections, not just local.
I attempted to register to vote this year, and they declined my ability to vote because I have a felony conviction.
In California, you don't even need to have an ID. What are you talking about?
You better look at the new voting laws, but I'm not going to get into this debate.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you guys, you need to check with your probation people when they give you a list, if they give you a list. A friend of ours got this list of what he can and cannot do. I never received even a, hey, you're off probation. They just never bothered to call me. But you can't own a firearm. You can't even go to a firing range and shoot a gun. You can get arrested for that. I served time with a guy who did exactly that. He went to a firing range in Nevada. He was from California. And because he had a warrant, they background him and found out he was a 2-time felon. And he got, for some reason, got 3 more years instead of 3 strikes, you're out. System has all kinds of things you can observe to, but you are no longer a Class A citizen. You are a Class bullshit citizen. California, it doesn't care with regard to asking you if you're a convicted criminal, although some of them do, because California, like most of the United States, has a law called ban the box, which means that you don't have to check that box. It says, yes, I was convicted of a crime. However, there are multiple ways that they're going to find that out. Anyway.
All that does is put you an interview, and now they're going to ask the question.
All it does is get you to an interview process, and they're going to ask you again. You could decline the answer, but if the company sits there and says, you understand that we do a background search and we do state and federal, you can say on the state side, well, no, I'm cool. Take that chance. But on the federal side, nah, shit, that stuff's going to come up as soon as they print you. You know, biological printing or whatever they call it. What do they call that? Biometrics. You have to do biometrics. It turns up as just a fingerprint electric scan. It's going to turn up. So you're donkey dicked. I give up the right to earn more than top dollar, $28-30 an hour. Tops. When I first came out of the halfway house, I had to settle for working for $15 an hour. Oh my God, I made that. 14 years old picking strawberries in the field. Came from a farm family.
Well, you're making 12 cents an hour there with me over the ADX, I think.
So you see, you give up so much to join this club, and you have so many wonderful things to look forward to. However, if you apply yourself, sooner or later, management in most jobs look at you as being a valued employee. If you're never late, you're always on time, you don't cause trouble, and you do what you're supposed to do. It's the only thing you have to look forward to. You are going to spend the rest of your life getting hammered on. Right. For me, for example, I went to a tax consulting firm because the federal government is demanding that I pay them $3.1 million. We are currently engaged in that battle. I give them $62.50 a month. I'm supposed to win that battle, but until that battle is won, which they have reopened the case 3 times now because they're trying to find a way to win it, and they can't find that way. So as long as they can get $62.50 out of me, they're going to drag it out as long as they want. Yeah. I went to apply for a job with a national trucking company that was actually not discriminant to age. As soon as they ran the background check, because I couldn't get Port Authority entry. As soon as they ran the background check, they said, we can't help you. That job was $36 an hour. So here we go. You're going to have those enigmas placed on you. And if you help that by giving into it, quitting, and saying, yes, I'm a federal felon. Oh my God, you're a bad man. No, you're a bad man, my ass. You're just the one who got caught. Every son of a bitch out there, and it's been proven to me time and time and time again, does something. He just didn't get caught. For all you pot smokers who are smoking pot in California or other states, hey, God bless you. I hope you enjoy your high. Why not? What the fuck? It's been out there since I can remember, back in the 60s. The only problem is it hasn't been made legal on the federal level. So if somebody wants to really wrap your ass, they just go ahead and send a DEA out there and bust you for smoking a joint. Now you're going to do federal time. Now you're a federal convict. And you cannot expunge that federal record. I'm sorry, you can't do it. You can look it up yourselves and you can argue about it all you want, but there's no expungement for a federal record.
Let me tell you about expungement, by the way. I want to tell you about expungement. I've been a manager for restaurants, and a couple of them did background checks. When I looked at the background check, robbed a bank, felony possession of this substance, all that, with the word expunged in parentheses at the end. It still shows your record.
Yeah, you're not going to get it off.
You have to have it permanently removed. Like somebody's got to go take some white out, and that's not going to happen. You get a pardon from the president. It's still on your record. It might say sealed or under sealed, but it has that word expunged or pardoned, but it still shows it. So that just means,
record's always going to be there. You can get a presidential pardon. What does the pardon say? Oh, John Smith was pardoned from bank robbery and 2 child molesting charges. Oh, and he got a donkey in the background of an alley.
Yeah.
With his dick in its ass. But we're pardoning him for those crimes.
Oh, they are. But the manager who's going to hire you?
Yeah, you're being pardoned, but yet they're reading that you had your dick in a donkey's ass in a back alley. How did that happen? Yeah. So what Sean's saying is true. There is no real expungement of anything. However, on a state level, in some instances, you can catch them, and you can demand the court through the U.S. Supreme Court of the state to remove, not lock, but remove the file. That does not happen. I think in history, it's only happened like 4 times now.
Like I said, you got to get somebody to go through every digital record of you, right, and somehow delete it. Oh, good luck.
Now what they do is just lock the file, and then you need a court order to unlock it. And if you can show justification to the court to why you unlock it, then you're going to get unlocked. Everybody's going to know who you are. So set yourself to the fact that everybody knows who you are anyway. And just move forward.
Can I tell you what because I get guys jobs all the time.
Never stop. Never stop. Never give up. Never give in. Never, ever duplicate your crime.
Very wise words.
Gone down the tube, you're done. You learned from it. You want to be intelligent? You want people to look at you and say, oh, you know what? You're a smart man. You know how many people come up to me in prison and say, hey, you know what? You look like you're pretty smart. Let me ask you this question. Dude, fuck off. I'm not that smart. I'm average Joe.
And you're in prison. You got caught. How you can't be that smart.
I'm in prison. I got caught. I got trained to do a job specifically, not all the parameters and side benefits of the jobs that might be alongside of that job. So don't make me think I'm smart. I'm not smart. I just know what I did for a living. You know what you do. End of story. That's it. So be smart.
Let me tell these guys what I do when I've looked for work, being out of prison. I know I had a few jail convictions before that and stuff. I use it as a positive. I even I facilitated a group over here in New Mexico too, to get people to motivate in a job seeker type kind of class. But I use it as a positive. I tell people the Band of Box is great because now I get the interview to explain. And I tell them, I've been homeless. I've been that guy yelling and screaming at traffic that you thought's mentally ill. That was me at one time. I've been to many of jails. I've been to federal prison. I've done crimes. I've been a drug addict. I've done all these things that's so wrong with people. And I overcame all that. And now I'm here on time, dressed nice, clean, shaven, everything, ready to go to work. If I can get through all that, don't you think I'm the guy that you can depend on now? I got through all that, and here I am ready to go to work, man. And also, there's tax credits. It's called the work opportunity credit. Anyways, I give some of the people I work with that. You can get, the government will give the employer back 25 cents for every dollar that they have to pay you, up to $9,600. I give them this little packet to give the employer too. So I don't know about the guys in the lobby, but I've been through hell, homeless, jails, prison, everything. I showed up. I'm ready to go to work. I got through all that. I can get through anything. Why won't you hire me? If you go in there with that attitude, easier said than done. I've had a manager actually change the whole policy. This was the Hyatt Regency. He called up HR. We're going to change our policy about hiring convicted felons, as long as they're not sex offenders or something like that. And he said, get it done by the end of the day. That's all it took. He called up the office. He hired me. Boom. Okay. So, but you got to believe in yourself. So anybody shows up believing in themselves, and you tell them, use that as a positive. You got through all that. Fuck yeah, I'm going to hire this guy. That'll get you a job. True story, though.
Yeah, these things take place. When I first came out of the halfway house, I had to settle for a job at $15 an hour as a warehouseman. And my age, and the one thing that became apparent is that I was out working and outperforming everybody around me, which promoted me into more positions faster. So again, apply yourself. Be prepared to understand you're going to have to rebuild. And some of the things that you don't know you're going to have to do, like, for example, pay your taxes every year. If you don't, you're opening yourself up for criminal liability. Sean knows about that part.
Yeah.
Criminal liability.
I owe $1.7 million for tax, fraudulently filing at least 500 tax returns for homeless people and drug addicts and people that use the money really wisely. But yeah, I have to pay all that back. Even though they got their refunds and I took 20%, but I got to pay back the 80% that I gave it. Anyways, yeah.
When I was sentenced, for those of you who got sentenced and you got restitution, there's a little agency called U.S. Department of Treasury Fiscal Responsibility Department. That's the division of the IRS that the probation departments worldwide, and I did say world, send your criminal record to if there is a restitution figure. Now, whether you pay the restitution or not. Now, Sean, don't interrupt me on this because I know what your situation is. Just sit tight for a second, okay? You can be prosecuted, and you will be as soon as you deserve it. Now, the reason I asked Sean to sit still on this is because Sean has a restitution figure, and they haven't talked to him yet. Now, he may go the rest of his natural-born life without them talking to him, but if he does anything, farts in public, and it disturbs a little old lady sitting a block and a half away, do you not believe for a second that they won't pull Sean in and add that charge to him as an investigative portion of why his tax responsibility has not been addressed? Okay, now, Sean, it's okay to participate. But you see what I'm saying is that no matter what you say or do, there is always another angle that can come at you. You didn't pay your taxes. You didn't file your taxes. Not only are you going to get compounded interest rates, which Sean can tell you more about than I, they're pretty badass, but you open yourself for possible criminal prosecution down the road if they choose.
Yeah. Okay. I'll never get a refund. They take that, and I have to pay at least $100 a month. And as long as I do that and file my taxes, like he said, I don't know if I can buy a house.
Let's talk briefly about your Social Security or retirement. Let's say you reach the ripe old age where you can retire and you claim your Social Security benefit. The Department of Fiscal Responsibility for the IRS will take a portion of it. They'll take it because your judgment read this, that, and the other thing. And when you fill out that financial declaration just before you get off probation, that's what they're going to base it upon. So you are what would be referred to in my vernacular as a dead broken dick dog who's got zero nothing. Yeah. Because it's hard to take something from nothing, but they will. 50, $100, whatever. So IRS, Department of Fiscal Responsibility, is always going to be there because your probation officer is going to do you the extreme favor of turning your name in, and that favor is going to be to watch your ass for the rest of life. Fortunately, they are overloaded. Can't get to everybody. Oh my goodness, what that mean? What? What does that mean? What? Well, it means that there's a shitload of people on probation who have a fiscal responsibility to pay. Otherwise, they would have already caught up with you.
They will violate you while you're on probation. You're $5 short on your payment. They're going to violate you.
Evidently, and that's true. Now, the IRS just was given authority under this new budget to hire 15,000 new people. Do you think there's going to be some progress made on who owes what to who? So you need to be on the straight line with this. You need to adopt, when you get out, planning for your future. I heard they cannot take disability. No, they can't.
You heard that, but it's not true, right?
I will promise you, my friend, if that's the only income, let's say you have Social Security income, and you're getting $1,500 a month, they will take all of it every month if they want. They may leave you a couple $100 and you can send them a letter. You can call them on the phone and say, hey, I'm starving to death. Are you going to give me a new tent? And they won't even respond to that. So yes, they can take that. Your disability means nothing.
Yeah, it's not safe, man.
As long as there's income for them to get, they can take it. And federal law allows it. So first, you don't get to vote, federal. You don't get to own firearms, federal. Buy ammunition, federal. Some of you may be restricted to alcohol or drugs. That might be there, but that's not a blanket policy. The blanket policy is the voting and firearms. Some of you will have fiscal responsibility of payment. That's there. You get your passport taken away. You're going to pay hell getting it back. I've been trying to get mine back for 3 years. Fortunately, there has been some progress made on that, which means that you cannot travel state to state, country to country, like you used to with a passport on an airplane. You're going to drive everywhere. You give up these responsibilities or these freedoms that were given to you before you became a convicted felon. So be aware of what you are no longer allowed to do. And remember, you don't ever give up, you don't ever quit, and you don't ever stop.
And you'll have these labels on you.
Yeah, Sean's labels are definitely.
You'll have your labels on you. Even though what's inside is what should count, people just read the label, man.
So, Sean, that label says body cam. Who's got a body cam on?
Body cam.
Yeah, it says body cam on. Whatever's.
What, body cam here? What are you talking about, body cam?
Yeah, on the bottom of my screen, it says it's got a green circle with a B, and it says.
Oh, that's the name. That's the name of the person watching us. That's their YouTube name, body cam on. That's just the name he's using, and
okay.
just to get you asking about it. Good one there, body cam on.
Well, let me tell you something. In my experience, if someone mentions a body cam, it doesn't mean that's your name. That means something else. In my former career, that meant something totally different. But regardless.
Yeah, and I think, well, I mean, I could ban this guy from the channel. I'm not going to do that.
I don't know how many of you are watching this, and I don't know if this is value to any of you, but you plan for the day you get out. And you have to be real about how you're planning, because your longevity, if you're a young guy, you know, if you got 25 years of the working career, you can outrun the internet. You'll be able to get back on the search page number 27 or something like that. Very few people ever look past page 2 on a search inquiry. Let me give you a couple of cautions. Never hire a company that says they can bury your stuff and they can protect your good name. They can't.
Justin Papruni did.
Yeah, so they say. Look what happened to him. Here's something you need to remember. Always remember to open your eyes and read everything carefully, because like on job applications, they can't ask you when you were born, because that's basically prejudicial towards age. But what they can ask you is, when did you graduate high school? What high school did you go to? When did you graduate? If you give them a graduation year, then they figure automatically, okay, he was 17 or 18 years old when he graduated high school, and this is 20 years down the road, so now he's 35. See what I'm saying? There's always a way around it. Okay? The second thing, if somebody asks you straight out, were you ever convicted of a crime? Face to face. You tell them yes. If it's on a piece of paper and it's in a checkbox, blow it off. If the checkbox won't allow you to continue the application unless you check it, then go ahead and be honest about it. Just say, yeah. 2 reasons. One, if they're going to disqualify you because of that, you didn't want to work for them in the first place. You don't need that. You need a person who's open-minded. You need a person who's willing to look toward the future. You need an employer and a person who's going to assist you in your quote-unquote rehabilitation, re-entry into society. And when you think the deck is stacked against you, and I'm going to give you the perfect deck is stacked against you, and why you never quit. And that perfect is you're talking to him right now. I got out. I went to a halfway house. I had no car. I had no money. I had a little bit of money that Social Security gave me from my retirement, because I retired later rather than on date. And my halfway house did me the favor of informing the Social Security Department that they paid me for time that I was incarcerated, which you don't qualify for. They take that back. So that penalty was being paid back.
You're supposed to be on Skid Row right now. You know that.
Say again?
You're supposed to be on Skid Row right now. Had everything that happened.
I truly am. So they took that back. And then I was able to purchase a car. Why? Because in 10 years' time, your credit history is negative. It's 0, nothing. But my job showed that I was diligent, and I was there, and I had a paycheck, and I had the proper amount of down payment, which took me 8 months to get, which meant I was driving Ubers for 8 months. So for every 8-hour shift I worked, I got 5 to get paid and 3 to cover my expenses.
But wait, how'd you drive Uber with a criminal history?
I didn't say drive Uber. I said I used Uber.
Oh, used Uber. Okay. No, but it can happen too. But go on.
So finally I had enough money to buy a car. I bought a car. 3 months after I purchased the car, and I'm living in a sober living house, and I don't drink. I'm living in a sober living house. A guy pulls out of an intersection of a parking lot in the main thoroughfare here in Los Angeles called Sepulveda Boulevard. It's a very large, popular boulevard, and T-bones my car. He did $8,000 worth of damage to my car, and the insurance company totaled it. The whole process took 8 months. The damage wasn't bad enough to keep the car from driving, so I'm driving a car that's damaged. It's all beat up on the right side because his car hit it and it just scraped right along. I take the car home, and a month later, one of the residents at the sober living house, who was a drug addict, paranoid schizophrenic, and with double eye cataracts, gets in his car, which he should not have been driving. I don't even know how he purchased it. No insurance, no nothing. Backs into my car's front end and rips my front bumper off, my airfoil on the bottom. This is a brand spanking new car to me. It's a 2017. I bought it from CarMax in 2020. I've had it now for 3.5 months. And it's been hit twice. And then the freaking schizophrenic just drives off like he didn't do anything. The cop who lived across the street, who's turned out to be a pretty good guy, he actually got hold of me and tell me that this guy did that. Because I was upstairs dead ass asleep because I'm working double graveyard. Of course, this guy can't pay for it. He can't afford to fix it. So got out there with some screws and screwed the bumper spoiler back up onto the car and bought a bra and used the bra to help hook that thing into place so it doesn't go off. And my car drives perfect. I mean, tracks beautifully. There's nothing wrong with the vehicle other than it has all this damage now. Now that should be enough to send anybody off the rails. I can't beat the fuck out of this guy because he lives there. I can't force him to pay because he doesn't get any money except by his disability check, which isn't consistent.
At this point, how many people would give up, Chris?
Probably a hell of a lot because it was a lot easier to be a criminal. So then I'm driving down the road, minding my own business. This 2 years later, I took the money from the insurance company and I bought the title for the car and I got the car titled as a salvage title. I'm perfectly willing to live with the scratches on the side where the guy T-boned me because I don't have any reason to show off to anybody. I'm not looking for a date, impress a girl.
That's not the Chris I met.
Yeah, well, it is the one now. But anyway.
Now it is. No, that's growth.
Well, thank you. I pull up at an intersection and a CR England tractor trailer rig, a 53-footer, pulls up alongside me pulls into the right turn lane and makes a right or left turn lane and makes a right-hand turn. Takes out the front of my car on the left side. Fortunately, I was able to back up before he got that. So I get to the second wheel instead of the first one. So that meant he didn't climb over the top of my car. He just tore off my front end, literally. So I fell at work and I had to chase the guy down a block and a half. Actually, that's not true. It's almost 3/4 of a mile to get to a highway exit before I can get him to stop. A Metro police officer stops and asks if we need assistance. Amazing. He didn't feel the bump on the car, but the point was that he got hit again. So now that car has been hit 3 times in its ownership career of mine of 3 years. Beautiful. Now I'm forced to deal with CR England, which I'm having to file a civil suit against. Informed them of that today. A week ago, some arrogant little gal and her boyfriend driving behind me, not realizing I've got front and rear cameras now, hits the rear of my car. And Sean, I'll send you that video clip. You'll laugh because it looks like they speeded up before they hit me. Their insurance company denies the claim. So now I got to fight with them. I've been having $182 a month taken out of my Social Security check because they overpaid me. I'm sorry, $272 because they overpaid me. Well, that last deduction was this month. So next month I should be seeing my $1,600. If I had paid into my Social Security for really and true declared income, I'd be looking at probably $2,800 to $3,200 a month from that. Now I'm looking at $1,600. So when I am no longer able to work, now pay the fuck attention. When I am no longer able to work at 80 years of age, I am going to have the best looking tent on the fucking street. Why? Because I may not have looked forward and planned for when I got out of fucking jail. Are you understanding what I'm saying? That's going to be your life. Unless you don't quit. I still have the potential of earning 72, which I did earn $72,000 last year, and I worked 60 hours a week, and I'm 75 years old. Fuck me in the ass. I shouldn't be doing that, right? But here I am. Why? Because I am a member of a very exclusive club called the Ex-Federal Felon. So now I have to plan properly. Pay the fuck attention. I have to plan properly, or I am going to have the best looking tent on the street. No one else is going to take care of me except me. In between those two car accidents, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. Beat it, cured it, it's gone. What the fuck else can go wrong? Am I prepared to accept the fact that these two companies may not pay me for the damage they've created to my car? Yes, I am prepared for that. Is there anything I can do about it? Yes, I can take it to court. That's it. What am I going to do in court? Isn't that the same place that sentenced me to 72 months in prison and took away my fucking life? Yes, it is.
But you're a citizen now, even though they've taken those rights away.
Citizen.
But when you go to this court, you have no crimes that you're hiding.
I'm going to small claims court. They don't give a fuck about that. But if I was going anywhere else, the attorneys aren't allowed in small claims court. If I was going to a court where there were attorneys, you don't think they'd dig it up and use it? Sure they would. The point I'm making to you guys is you don't give up. You find all your alternatives. You try to live your best life possible. And that just means one thing. If the light is red, you fucking stop. Then when it turns green, you go forward. That's what it means. It doesn't mean you have to make a life change in philosophy. If you still want to disbelieve in God and you want to believe in, wild goats, go ahead. But the public image and the concept of polite society, living within the rules of the law, you're going to have to do it. Or pay attention. You will have the best tent on the street. Now, those are the points I'm making to you. You give up a great deal of freedoms, and you're not going to get them back ever. I wish I had the full list. Larry, Sean, has the full list.
Oh, Mendoza, yeah.
He has the full list, and it told him what he no longer can get, and it also told him what he may be able to get back. State is different than federal. For you guys who have been convicted to federal, understand if you're going to a camp, you're not going to get your asses kicked every fucking day unless you're a stupid motherfucker with a big ass mouth.
Yeah, there's a few of them, but
or you ask for the problem by being arrogant and never put more than $100 a month on your books, because as soon as you do that, you become a target.
Not only that, they'll take it. I had to pay my restitution before I got out.
They'll apply it to your restitution. See, you can't win. Any money that you make, if you don't declare it properly and you don't declare your bills, they're going to end up taking it from you because they're going to think you lied to them about shit. The days of you being allowed to lie are over. You have to understand who you are. Pay fucking attention. You have to understand who you are. Period. It's simple. Once you understand that, then life is a big peach that you will never be allowed to have a bite of, but at least it'll be a beautiful peach you can look at. So, know what your rights are. Know what you can legally do and what you legally can't do. Try not to be the guy that has the best looking tent on the street. Because inside that tent, there's no toilet, there's no running water, there's no stove. And the first one of you smart ass motherfuckers who pop up with, I can buy one, you can kiss my ass, because I know you can buy one. How long do you think you're going to have it inside that tent that you cannot lock and that a knife can't cut through the canvas of?
In Berkeley, they got solar panels outside of their tents and a couch outside, and they've got it made.
Yeah. Point of fact. You want to be a wise ass? Go ahead. Enjoy your life in the tent. Me, I like to come home. I like to get in a shower. I like to warm up food. I like to cook food. I like to have a sink that's attached to a wall, that's attached to plumbing that I can wash dishes in. But for you guys who have all the answers, enjoy that tent. Oh, and you 24-year-olds who got busted for trafficking and you have such a big future in front of you because Neobatos are going to take care of you. Fuck that. They aren't either. They're going to take care of your family, sure. You bet. For how long? until they get them convinced that they got to be criminals too. They're going to take care of you because you're no value to them anymore. You got a record, a federal record. And while you're on probation, remember, if that probation officer wants to pull your chain for farting in public, he will do it. Sean's probation officer came to his house, looked through it a lot, showed up.
That was the fourth one. The third one was, I had 4 different ones, and they'll change up on you. As soon as you build up that trust with them, guess what? Now you got a new guy. Okay.
I had 6 different probation officers, and the only one that ever came around to talk to me was a female, and she only came because she was just assigned to the case and needed to see how many exits there were to my house. I wasn't convicted of any crimes that had violence. So there's those of you out there who are going to say that I didn't give you anything to think about, that I don't know what I'm talking about, and this, that, and the other thing. Hey, fuck you in the ass. For real. Fucking blow it out your bucking ass. I do know what I'm talking about because I've been there. You haven't. If you think you're 10 foot tall and bulletproof, hey, I got 2 words for you. Go for it. You want to be that guy? Go for it. Otherwise, pay attention to what was said to you because all of it is true. Now, I've just about had it with this bullshit. So you people who have all the answers, God bless you. Good luck. You people who I got your attention of and have something to think about now, God will bless you. Because whether you believe it or not, there is a supreme person out there. None of this is by accident. Somebody made those choices. Somebody's directing something. So I hope this helps some of you. If not, kiss my butt. Enjoy yourself.
I got a picture I want to show you, Chris, how 2 different people from different walks of life can meet in prison. So let me show you this here real quick. It's going to show up. Never mind.
Technology can sometimes
it's not going to let me. It should let me, but it's not. Well, let me try it one more time here. I want to show you this picture.
Do you have a printed copy?
No, it's coming up now. I got it up now. Let's see here. Damn it. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Let me blow it up. Let me make it bigger. It's not coming up on. Do you remember this, Chris?
I do.
The chess game?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm funny that way. Memories. No, that picture there just reminds me of prison. You never know who you're going to meet.
It also reminds you of you are what you circulate yourself around. And that's from Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, that's right.
But you circulate yourself. In the end, the old black guy took care of the young white guy by providing him with a shitload of cash in the future. Those of you who've seen the movie, you'll understand it. Those of you who haven't, it's a good movie. You should watch it. There's a lot to be learned. But you are what you produce yourself to be. It's just that simple. If you want to be, a career guy and collect all the tattoos in the world so that you can sit around a dinner table with a bunch of other guys with a bunch of tattoos and say, yeah, man, I'm in my barrio. This is how I look. Look at me. I'm fucking cool. Shit, I'm badass. Check out my tats, Hey, if that's your mentality, so be it. I am very proud of you for wanting to protect your barrio, your neighborhood. I'm very proud of you for that. However, I'm going to tell you one thing more. And one guy was giving a speech at the end of an RDAP program, and he had to tell everybody who he was and what he was about. And he got cocky about it because his whole philosophy and his 24 years of being in prison off and on was that if you can't beat me up, I'm not paying attention to you. So I showed him another way of getting his ass whooped. After he finished his conversation, we were allowed to make comment. This is an RDAP, Sean. So I stood up and I said, I'm very pleased and I'm very happy that you've made it through RDAP. I'm glad that, you're going forward, but I want you to remember one thing. When you're released this time, which will be your final time, back into the general public, there are more people out there who are like me than who are like you, the sergeant of arms for the Desperados. Who the fuck are they? You think people on the East Coast know who you are? You think people one state over know anything about Desperados Motorcycle Club? There are more people in society like me than they are like you. And you've gone all this time in your life.
This guy has my charges times 4, and he only got 27 months.
False tax returns. I have 4. I hope you understood that. I have 4.7 million in restitution and tax crime. There is no future, so I kept all my cash.
No forfeiture. There's no forfeiture.
Or forfeiture. So I kept all my cash. So it's best to go to the halfway house ASAP.
You should send your cash to me right now so I can hold it.
This guy's being serious. He put it on.
No, I know. I got a 52 month sentence for.
I don't really understand what you're asking.
Yeah, sure. Go to the halfway house as soon as you can. Are you saying you're in prison right now on a cell phone watching the show? Because what do you mean you should go to the halfway house ASAP?
Yeah, where are you?
So you got sentenced to 27 months. Are you out? I'm thinking he's on a cell phone right now watching the show in the cubicle or something. Otherwise, I don't know. Are you already out of prison? Why would you want to go to the halfway house ASAP?
Well, let me address this 4.7 in restitution. Your 4.7 in restitution, they're going to give you a form to fill out. And the form is going to be your financial status is what it amounts to. You're a broke dick dog. You got nothing. I don't care what you say you got nothing.
Is it best?
And
he turns himself in April 8th. Yeah,
okay,
you want to go to that. Okay, I get it now. So
if your sentencing doesn't say you've been sentenced to a halfway house, where are you going to go? They're going to put you in a basically a camp, and then once you're released from the camp or whatever your incarceration is, unless it's already in your sentencing, you're going to go to a halfway house. I don't know if they're sentencing. You said you got 27 months. That means you're going to prison.
Yeah, and you could do 10% of your time on home confinement or a halfway house. You might get 2 months, 3 months halfway house, unless you take RDAP. You might get 6 months, but that's
after your sentence is served or during your sentence is served, and you go to RDAP or something.
Yeah.
Then you might be able to get 3 to 6 months or even a year off your sentence. I think with 27 months, I think the best you can get is what, 6 months, Ron?
6 months, and then at least 4 months halfway house because you got to do aftercare for RDAP.
I really don't understand what it was you were saying, man. I don't know if you were trying to tell me that you got lucky, or is it best that I go to a halfway house, or I'm not really
after
sure.
5 months, I can go to after 5 months in prison, you go to halfway house. If you took First Step Back credits and you got lucky and they reviewed you and all that, I doubt it. 27 months.
Is that in my friend? Is that in your sentencing guideline? Is that what did the judge sentence you to? And is this 5 months going to a halfway house? Where does that come from? Is that part of your sentence? That means no.
I'm not sure which question he's answering because I asked
it either.
Yeah. But so 27 months, I'll do the math. You're going to do 85% of that. You get 56 days off. We'll call it 2 months for every year. So let's say it's 2 years. You're going to get 27 months minus 4 is 23 months.
You have to 18 and a half, 19 months.
Yes, I was going to get to that. You could get lucky and get more halfway house time, but you're not getting out of prison after 5 months.
My friend, if you're currently looking at this, please answer this question. Did your judge sentenced you to 27 months. Did he mention anything about halfway house in your sentence? Yes or no?
Find out.
Okay, while you're typing that, if you say yes, then perhaps that might be the case, but I doubt it very seriously. If you say no, then you're going to do 18 months minimum.
Yeah. He says no, yeah.
You're going to do about 18 months minimum. You don't have any money in this world. You have no fame to claim. You're just a poor broke dick dog who got caught. And whatever you do to get your money covered, good for you. They gave you $4 million in restitution. No matter what else they gave you, they're going to come after you for that $4 million one way or another. So be smart. Dig the hole deep. Use a lot of plastic bags so the cash doesn't get wet. And you're going to go to a halfway house. You're probably going to get 3 months of halfway house, maybe 6 tops.
If you do RDAP, it's going to take a year to finish the RDAP. You're not going to put you in the day you get into prison either and all that. So you're probably going to do at minimum a year. That's with RDAP to get 6 months halfway house. Yeah.
Let me explain that for you, young man. What Sean is saying, if they gave you 27 months, you're going to probably do 18. The most you can get off from RDAP is a year.
6 months in his case, because it's only 24 months.
6 months in halfway house. There's no way they're going to give you that because that would release you to the public immediately. They're going to force you to go to halfway house. So you're going to get maybe 6 months for RDAP, and RDAP is if you were a drug addict or an alcoholic. Either one will get you in, as long as you have people who will certify to that fact. Like your mother, yes, he drank like a fish.
No, not gonna believe you. Not gonna believe your mother. Got to have a valid. You got to have somebody like a probation officer or a.
Somebody has to certify, But regardless, let's say that happens, then you go to RDAP. Yeah, Sean teaches RDAP class. He actually knows what he's talking about. So you're going to have that scenario. So the best you're looking at is you're going to do at least 12 months. At least.
That's right. And that's if everything lines up and all the planets are in alignment,
Yeah, if your stars are right. But, how old are you?
Yeah, and do you know you're going to a camp? You don't even, do you know that? Where are you going? Maybe you're going to a low. I've had 3 people out of 500 go to a medium and got to self-surrender. It's rare, but that happens.
Just remember to plan for when you get out.
47. Okay, so that brings your points down. You got 4 points taken off for your classification level custody evaluation right there at being 47.
You're going to a camp.
Yeah, I'm probably going to a camp.
You did tax returns. You didn't, execute people. But you're going to go to a camp, my friend, I'm sure. And your life is not going to be over because you're 3 years short of 50, which means that even if you took 2 years out, you still have a 20-year available career to age 70 from 50.
Yeah, don't give up. I'm not trying to discourage you. And I don't know how much probation time. It's normally 3 years. Don't give up on anything. But you are going to do it at least a year in the prison camp. But you make it worth your while. You reset, you redo. You get a chance, you get a do-over, man.
Yeah, we have a fellow that both of us have been talking to. He's the next officer, police officer. He was convicted of a felony assault when he was jumped by 2 other guys. They just sentenced him to 6 months. But he was able to keep his pension.
Yeah.
How does this apply to you? Okay. A year, yes. So what that means is that if you're clear of all of this by age 50, which you should be if all these calculations are correct, you still have 20 years available to the workforce. And that's the key. What do you have available to the workforce? So let's say you take 5 years finding what you need to find. You still have 15 years available. If you were to, and this is why I picked truck driving. I picked truck driving because I'm the only person in that truck, and the only responsibility I have is to get from point A to point B on time. That's it. I have nobody looking over my shoulder. I have nobody I have to contend with. And I happen to like myself. I'm very comfortable with me. I know who I am. So with that said, young man, the reality is that you can still create a retirement that will see you through your mid-80s at this point in your life, even going to federal prison, because most truck driving positions do not require prejudice against federal act unless you're working for the government. I actually was offered a job at LAX as a food truck deliverer, delivering the food for the airplanes. I turned it down because I really don't like the cold weather out there. But
Chris, I do have to teach this class tonight moving forward. This is an RDAP book in about 45 minutes, Chris. So I kind of got to keep going.
Well, I'm all said and done. I hope that we help this guy, and I hope that there are other people out there who, actually take me serious, because It's like I told my son when he was 23 years old. I said, "You want to hit me? Take a shot." I know he won't do it. And the reason why he won't do it is because he doesn't know what it feels like to bleed from your nose from somebody's fist smashing it.
And he's Samoan. You don't want to get hit by him. half Samoan.
And my son is 6'4". Or I'm sorry, I said 6'4". I don't know why I was thinking he's 6'8", 320 pounds. He's popped off and I cracked him. And I know he will never come back at me. And that's because he doesn't know what it feels like to get punched in the nose and have your nose squished. Well, you don't know what it feels like to go to prison and have to get out. So there's a fear factor. I don't fear it because I've already done it. So pay attention. It really does help. Okay, Sean, I've said all I can say. I think 4 guys.
I got my number here. It's on the street. Call me. Give me a call when you can, and we'll talk with you. We had the same kind of charges, and let me see if I can be of any help. You want to call the number's there. But go on. I do got to go, guys. I'm teaching RDAP 4 years out of prison. I thought RDAP. I'll never use this again. I'm teaching the whole Federal halfway house tonight. They come every week. There's maybe 30 of them that show up. So, yeah, things you thought you'd never, ever use again in prison, and you'd really be surprised. I get to work with guys right out of federal prison every week. I love it, man.
Well, thank you all. See you later, Sean. Thank you.
Yeah, Chris, and we'll talk. I do got to get it's about a 20-minute drive, and I got to go.
Hey, Mr. 47-year-old, you're more than welcome. I hope I said something that makes sense. Okay, Sean, I'm out.
All right, guys. Thanks, man.